Hello. I'm trying to get where people can ask questions. Why do I not see this?
In this video, I'm going to show you how you can enable live chat on a
Sorry if you
YouTube
can hear
live stream.
this.
So you can see I'm in the backend of a YouTube live stream, and now I'm going to show you how you can enable a live chat so that you can engage with your viewers. So all I need to do for this is click on Edit over here, and you'll then see all of these features, right? So this is where you'd normally change this setting, but
It says I don't have access to this feature to click on any of that. Ah, for the love of God. Okay. Here's what we can do. I'm going to talk, but if you guys want to, if anyone can hear me, respond to any of my posts on the social media, either on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and I will read those because I was going to go through the few questions we had. I am so sorry about this. I had it working yesterday. I don't know what's up with it this time. Any advice, obviously welcome. So, I guess I'll just get things started here. So we've got Scarlet Witch coming here next week. I'm planning on sending out kind of the official full, you know, story that I usually send out with everything. It's going to be long and crazy. But we're wanting to change a couple things, and I wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. Um, so, like, a couple of the first things we're doing, we're going to be doing the private sale again. With the private sale, this time though, the past couple times I've only invited people who had bought recently because we've been getting so many new customers that I wasn't sure how to continue getting people what they wanted to get. And it really, we reached a point where we had way too many customers. So we basically decided, hey, let's kind of create a cutoff date. And at that point, anybody that wants to get a copy of it can get a copy. Um, but we're limiting it to a certain number of people. I got a lot of feedback from people that were pretty unhappy with that. And because of that, for this time with Scarlet Witch, we're actually going to be doing anybody who's ever bought from me is going to have an opportunity to get a copy of, be invited to the private sale. So hopefully that's going to help a lot more people get copies of the book. one of the other things that we're pretty pumped about is, I don't know, well, maybe pumped isn't the right word, but I think is going to help a lot is, so with Scarlet Witch, um, we received our shipment in, and we got our normal round of great looking books. However, we got something that we don't usually get, and that is a series of, basically, they're not damaged, but they're good books. And in the past, we've had such a small number of these kind of books that really didn't meet, um, the great standard, but I thought they met a good standard. Um, that we've just kind of set them aside, and we don't really want to sell them. And again, it's such a minuscule number. We've kind of worked that out on the back end if certain people had asked, but what we this time we got in more than usual, and we've decided we are in fact going to sell them, but we're going to sell them at a discounted rate. So one of the things I'm excited about is that hopefully that's going to open up even more books. We certainly have a lot more Scarlet Witches that came in a great condition, and they're looking awesome than we did with Boba Fett, and even than we did with Phoenix. So that's really good to hear. Hopefully that's going to mean more people getting a chance to get the books, and hopefully by having these other additional discounted books, it's going to give even more people a chance. So for anyone out there that's really adamant about, hey man, I really want just a copy of the book. I'm not, want to flip it. I just want a copy of the art for my collection. If for some crazy reason, we sell out of the great books quick, we're hoping that there's going to be some additional good books available that are going to give people a chance to get a copy. I should also mention my office real quick. I am in the process of renovating my office space, so I am literally kind of still in the move-in process. I've been this way for longer than I had hoped, but hence all of my comics and long boxes in the back, blocked out a window in about the most stupid way possible, but hopefully it's cutting back on the back glare. So I apologize for the mess. With that said, also, I guess now back to Scarlet Witch. One of the things we're really excited about is we are going to have the option of being a part of the Elizabeth Olsen signing with CGC. Unfortunately, it's going to be a really, really tight turnaround. I was not even aware of this signing going on at first. But an awesome guy on Twitter made mention of it to me. So I decided, hey, let's see what we can do. I've been in touch with CGC. We've kind of got everything worked out with it. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to facilitate it directly. Because of that, we are actually partnering with a great guy, Dan Partucci at One Stop Comics. Dan's info is it is One Stop Comic Shop. It's 4 words. He can be reached at Dan, DAN, at onestopcomicshop.com. onestopcomicshop.com. And basically what Dan's offered to do is, because as we're going to be processing all the Scarlet Witch books, we're not really going to have an opportunity to directly send them out to you guys and then have time for the people that bought the book to be able to get it back to CGC, even if they bought a CGC 9.8, which we do have available on all 3 versions of Scarlet Witch. Basically what we're going to do is, after we sell the book on, the sales of the 30th at 6, on the 1st to the 7th, because we need a hard cutoff date, between the 1st and the 7th, if you reach out to Dan and say, Dan, I'd like to get a copy of my Scarlet Witches signed by Elizabeth Olsen, Dan will take care of you. He'll get everything worked out. Then Dan's going to send us a list of anyone that's interested in getting it signed. We'll send the books directly to Dan. Dan actually lives by CGC, so he's going to be able to just personally hand deliver the books to CGC, and then they will take it and get Elizabeth Olsen to sign it. When Dan gets the books back, he'll make sure everybody gets their books in order. He's done this before. He's awesome. Nobody needs to stress on getting their books, and you get the Scarlet Witch to sign the books, which is pretty rad. So we're really pumped about that as well. So, I mean, we're constantly trying to do the best we can with these sales. Everything's constantly changing. I really hate that the live chat feature, I can't seem to get to open up. So I'm going to just kind of hop on to the questions that people asked on social media, respond to them. Hopefully, I can answer your questions. Again, if you have one, hit me up on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to go through and just kind of start answering what I can, and hopefully explain. Even if you have a question about like why I do something, for example, ask that, because I want to. Nothing we do is in a vacuum. We don't just randomly pick things out, or make these decisions lightly. Everything we do, we try and go above and beyond to make sure people are taken care of, and that as many people can get a copy. Um, so, again, if you're curious why I do something, I know a lot of people have been frustrated in the past with Boba Fett, with Phoenix. Things are constantly changing. Things are evolving, and we're trying to kind of keep up with it. We're never going to be satisfied. We're never going to just stop and be like, that's it. Um, and hopefully we can work that out. So I'm just going to start here and just see I'm going to go to Facebook first. And here we go. So, pachow. All right. Unrelated question. Can we expect any appearances at cons in the upcoming year? Yes. I am actually going to be doing a show in Columbus here at the end of the year. Really, really excited about that. It'll be my first con since the pandemic. Really looking forward to it. I'm hoping to kind of come fresh with a whole slew of things. Probably going to be making some prints of some of the more recent covers I've been doing. I'm going to be there with Dan, actually, particularly the guys handling the Elizabeth Olsen signing. He's been kind enough to bring me out. We've got some things in the work for that as well. So definitely doing that. I might be doing and I'm kind of working out the details here, but I'm hoping to be able to do also a little charity signing here coming up as well, just to give something back to people. Try and do good by it. So as more information about that comes up, I'll definitely give more information, but I'm really hoping to get back in the swing of things, back in the saddle. Cons are difficult for me just because of my fear of flying. I don't know how many of you are aware of that, but I'm petrified of flying. I absolutely hate it. And it's kind of difficult when you've got, cons all around the country. I can fly every once in a while, but lately it's been really hard for me to kind of justify it in my head with kind of my psyche. So, but I'm hoping to, again, get back into it and start attending more. I would love Christopher Brulo asked, I would love a negative space Optimus Prime and Megatron. I would love to do that as well. I'm a huge Transformers fan. I cannot say whether I've worked on Transformers recently or in the past. That alone should probably give you an indication as to my relation. Star Wars, Marvel, and really any comics, He-Man, Transformers, and Star Trek. Like, those are my loves. Anything involving in that, I'm down. So the chance of an Optimus. Rich Miranda said, I would love to see a negative space Hulk. Do you even do Joe Fixit and Maestro variants or something along those lines? Just a suggestion for something in the near future. I'll try to hit you up on the YouTube channel. But I work at the time. Either way, you rock. Thanks. I'd love to do a Hulk. There's actually several versions of the Hulk. My only question about Hulk is, how do you do the negative space? Would it be a purple version, or would it be, because if you do the skin, if it's green, then you're going to lose his face and everything. So, but Hulk is definitely one of my favorites, and to be able to do, Hulk and then Rulk and all the other versions of him would be pretty rad. Maybe doing like Professor, since he's got like the shirt, pretty dope. Uh, Peter Maresca, I've gotten every one of your negative space and Star Wars variants, and hopefully you won't have a problem getting a copy of this one too. Keep the fire coming. Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. Like I said, uh, Boba Fett and Phoenix were really rough for me. On one hand, it's like as a business person, pretty stoked to sell out as quick as I did. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I have a family. I'm trying to make money doing this, but uh, the fact that I sold out so quickly and so many people were bummed really, really hurt my feelings and broke my heart. Didn't hurt my feelings that people were upset. They had every right to be upset. That was a failure on my part. With the failure of Phoenix not having a limit per customer, that's why we rectified that with Boba Fett. With Boba Fett, we realized, especially with the limited numbers, that's why we're kind of opening up to the good books this time around and hoping to get more numbers out of them. But there are certain things I can't control. Boba Fett, for example, we got the first printing in, and I mean there were like 200 first printings of the holiday version that were even remotely salvageable. That's 200 books. That's all we had. I can't make more. I tried to by getting a second printing. It was a pretty bloody affair between um, Diamond and then into Penguin. I mean, it was a real fight, but everyone really stepped up. Everyone at Marvel, everyone at Penguin, everyone even at Diamond was super awesome. But the fact was, there were 200 books to sell, and I could either put them in a long box and never sell them, or I can try and put them out there to people. That's just the reality of kind of what we're dealing with. No matter how many I ordered, you know, 200 were salvageable. We're trying to do the best we can with what we have, and we hope that Scarlet Witch works out well for everybody this time. Um, yes, Jeff Hernandez. It is the one with the Civil War cover for the Iron Man from 20 years ago, or whatever it was. Uh, if previously purchased the Star Wars, how can have an early access? It's John Ryan Albastro. I apologize with names. I see your names. So many people I recognize, but I don't know how to necessarily pronounce it. Um, yes, again, as I said earlier, we kind of created arbitrary cutoffs in the past just to try and ensure as many people were able to get it. We figured if you hadn't bought from me in, over 3 years, you probably had lost interest in a lot of the work I was doing, which is cool. Like, no harm, no foul. I completely respect, man, people's lives. You move on. God bless. Uh, but I was pretty shocked to find that a lot of people, especially with Boba Fett, who hadn't bought in 3 years, they had certain personal things that came up, and that really bummed me out that they felt like I kind of had left them behind, and I don't want to be that guy. So for Scarlet Witch and moving forward, we are going to be opening them to everyone involved. There is a consideration for the action figure covers still. Do we want to open up the private sale to everyone that's ever bought, or just people that have bought action figures? We're going to have a vibe for that. The next cover I'm doing is going to be a Star Wars action figure. I have a feeling a lot of people have probably figured out who it's going to be. The whole issue was actually supposed to be released several months ago on my site, but due to certain scheduling conflicts, it had to get pushed back. So, we're kind of saving. We decided to get Scarlet Witch out of the way, and then we're going to do this character shortly thereafter. And I'm really pumped. It's literally a figure from, when I first started doing when I did the first Boba Fett action figure 6 years ago. This was a character that I said, I want this one for one of my own. He's one of my favorites. So, yeah. So we'll see that. If you have ideas, like, one of the things, again, like, if you have ideas is like, this isn't working for me, why are you doing it? Put it on the social media. Like, I will respond to it. I'll try and cover it here if I get it in time. I again apologize for all this, kerfluffle. But I'll put it to you guys. My thought is, with the private sales for the action figures, am I going to be able to guarantee them anymore? Not really. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, with the number of, if I were to invite every person to a private sale, we're looking at a vast number of people that, again, I don't know if they're going to be wanting to buy an action figure. I think they might be just negative space fans. I don't know though. So do we open it to everyone? Do we open it to just people who have bought action figures in the past, and that way might be able to get that number to a number where I can make the guarantee that I've done in the past. It bums me out that I can't just guarantee to everybody like I have previous customers, but and these are kind of the realities we're dealing with on stuff. And I'm open to suggestions. We've got some time on that. Already subdued. So, what's yours and wife's favorite tequila? Alex Rodriguez. Well, what a wonderful question. I'm kind of new to drinking. I actually quit drinking for about 20 years and just started again. My wife has turned me on to mezcal. Uh, there's one called like 400 Bunnies that she's really into that she's kind of turned me on. So I think any tequila is good, but we love mezcal as well. And we're just grooving on that. Uh, Robert Lucius. I'm loving this one. It's a picture of the Sam Wilson Captain America action figure. But when will I see these Captain America negative space variants for both ongoing series? It's a great question. The negative spaces are a really cool thing for me. So basically, the action figure covers. That's something as I've been open, told the story many times. It's kind of a thing that I do with Marvel, and I'm kind of have to work with them on a lot of those ideas for what I want to do for exclusives, what characters we're going to do, so on and so forth. Um, I've been doing the negative spaces since I was in high school, so over 20 years. Um, I kind of put those out in the world. I've been cultivating them and nurturing them for years through prints, then through covers. I did a negative space for Witchblade is like one of the first covers I ever did for them. Um, so I'm kind of open. I've got so many ideas about negative space, different characters and different things. I'm really just excited to kind of start exploring them. I don't, I want to see where everyone goes. It's one of those I don't want to overdo it as well because I know that can be the case where I don't want to just be cranking one out once a month. I want to keep them special. I want to do characters that I'm passionate about, characters that I'm wanting to do. Jeff, unable to live chat. Yes, I'm super bummed, man. I apologize for this. I have a fun question. What negative space cover made you realize that you have a popular thing going? Wolverine. Um, Again, I've been doing the negative space for so long. I had the prints; they were pretty popular. People seem to dig them. There was the Emma Frost and the Carol Danvers Miss Marvel. I'm not sure if I'd ever be able to do those as covers, just to keep Marvel happy. Uh, but with Wolf, I'd done what Iron Man, Kamala, and Black Panther back in the day, and they did well. I mean, we sold out of them. Things were great. But it just, no one was hitting me up constantly saying, when's the next negative space cover? When's the next negative space cover? And I really felt that people were constantly asking about more Star Wars action figures. So at the time it was like, well, cool, we'll kind of chill out on this. I'll do them eventually. And then when, Marvel asked to start doing the ones for the cons, I said, sure. We started from there. I was in the middle of the pandemic, Wolverine kind of blew up. And I was like, well, hell yeah, I can finally get back to these guys. Because again, I've had ideas. I mean, there's a Psylocke one I've been wanting to do for years. There's a She Hulk one I've been wanting to do. There's, Spidey's girlfriends that I've thought would be pretty rad. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. So, looking forward to a lot more coming up. Jason Parker, hey John, do you do commissions? I do, but I don't know when I have time. For anyone who knows, I don't actually charge for commissions anymore, just because it became such a challenge for me to get them done on time and in a timely fashion. So I literally have kind of just gotten to a point where if I can do a sketch, I'll do a sketch. If I can do a commission, I'll do a commission. But I mean, I literally have, and I don't think you can see them here, but I have a stack of like just blank covers that people have asked me to do sketches on. And I don't feel it's fair to people that I have, sit on them and hoard them. But on the same token, like I'm really busy. For anyone that doesn't know, not only do I do comic covers, I also work on toys. I do work with Hasbro on games. I also have now, I'm working on my second feature film. Um, and that's not to say anything also about having a wife and kids that I don't get to see enough, that I'm constantly trying to find time to make time for them. So I do take commissions, but it's just like, man, when I can get to it. And I apologize. I know that's probably not what a lot of people want to hear. As I do more cons, I'm hoping to start doing more sketches at shows again. I don't charge for it. It's free. It's if I can get to it, I get to it, and I'll try and knock them out for you. Um, Also, big shout out. Jason Parker also said big shout out to Jen who works tirelessly behind the scenes. Hell yeah! Uh, for anyone that's not familiar with my wife, if you've ever bought a book from me, you know her. She's the one that handles everything. Um, Moving forward, also, our other person that's been helping us, Lori, is going to be stepping up big time with Scarlet Witch. So, make sure you give them some love. We are, again, an incredibly small team. We don't really have, because I do this so infrequently, and that's something I'm also considering changing. Uh, I don't have a giant staff. We do it. We're going to try and be a little more honest with people moving forward on deliverables, because we don't think it's fair that we shoot for the moon in hopes that we're going to be able to get books out, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, and then it takes longer. For Scarlet Witch, we're expecting it's probably going to take a month before people eventually get some of their books, and that's not ideal, but I'd rather tell you it's going to be a month and you get it in 3 weeks than to tell you 3 weeks and you get it in a month. So, um, you know, big shout out to everybody. I mean, I can only promise you that everyone really, we still work out of my house. My house becomes a war zone with these books. Um, and nothing but love to everybody that helps me out in this process. So, Jeff Hernandez, will Marvel let you do a negative space Deadpool cover? That's something that is, yeah. I'm sure that might be something in the cards. I'm actually trying to plan out a year's worth of exclusives moving forward. Again, to try and start making them a more consistent quarterly thing. Obviously, the world and the supply chains of everything for the past, since the pandemic really has been a little crazy. Scarlet Witch. I used to be able to finish up artwork and get it turned around and get books in my house within a month. It's now over 2 months. So hopefully, by planning ahead and having ideas and getting the artwork done early, we're going to be able to move forward. And which brings up, this was another idea that's been kind of rattling around in my head. Putting it out to anybody that might, comment about it or let me know. Is this stupid? Is this a good idea? Or is this something people are interested in? The idea of basically setting up at the beginning of January, hey, I'm going to be doing this many. I'm doing 4 sales this year, and in those 4, I'm going to do the first one's going to be a negative space character. The second one's going to be an action figure cover. The third one's going to be 2 negative space characters, and the third one's going to be an action figure in a negative wash cover, negative space. The Luke Sky. I'm sorry, the Yoda, Emperor Palpatine, Anakin, Darth Vader look. And these are all I'm not going to reveal what the characters are because I want to keep that surprise kind of till the end, right before the sale. But the option of we're going to have this many books. Are you interested in buying them all now and guaranteeing that you're going to be able to get every copy? And that way you don't have to worry about coming to sales. You don't have to worry about the private sale. You don't have to worry about anything. Is that something people would be interested in? Is that something people wouldn't be interested in? Is that cheating? Is that making it better for you guys? Tell me, let me know. Is that something that sounds cool or not? Because that's something I've been kind of rattling around in my head. If we start to get a more consistent schedule down. All right. So let's see here. Jeff Hernandez just said yes. I don't know if that's in response to Deadpool or the idea of the kind of annual sale thing, but sweet Jeff, thank you so much. All right. Let's see here on let's see Instagram. Comic Germ. Wanda is one of my favorite characters, so this must be a buy for me. I'd love to see a Beta Ray Bill cover next. Also, in regards to the Wanda set, I asked on another post, but since you're live, any chance they will be sold as a set or just individually? Thanks for the awesome covers. Well, thank you, Comic Germ. First of all, Beta Ray Bill, holy crap, I hope so. For anyone that ever saw my Annihilators cover run that I did back in like 2012, I actually had it in a verbal agreement, a written agreement, that I could put Beta Ray Bill on every cover because he is actually one of my favorite comic book characters. So if it ever comes around that maybe I do an Asgardian set of, either like Thor, Loki, Jane Foster, you know, Beta Ray Bill, those would certainly be something I'm very, very, very interested in doing. Uh, in regards to the Wanda set, so this is a great time to explain this. Okay, so sets. Um, First, it needs to be established, as you can tell from my complete kerfluffle here with the live chat deal. I'm not a web guy. I'm not one of those kind of people. I've got a guy that handles a lot of that for me. Obviously, he's not here, or we wouldn't be in this. Uh, so I'm going to explain it as best as I can explain it. Again, if you guys know of other options or plugins, please let me know. We have transitioned over to Shopify a couple sales ago, and that's offered a lot of great opportunities for us. So the WooCommerce thing we had was awesome for while it was there, but as we've grown, it really started to cause problems. So we switched to Shopify. We're dealing with basically SKUs. Okay, so for example, with Scarlet Witch coming up, we have X number of books. We have X number of, 9.8 graded, what we'll call A covers, X number of 9.8 graded B covers, which is like the George Perez version, A being the classic look, and then C being the more modern look, where she's, doesn't have the pink over here and got the higher collar and the bigger crown, long sleeve gloves and everything. So you put in a SKU for each item, and that includes, so for Scarlet Witch, you're going to have one for 9.8A, one for 9.8B, one for 9.8C, one for great A, one for great B, one for great C, one for good A, one for good B, one for good C. There's going to be 9 SKUs total, and for each one of those, we can put in an actual number, a finite number. One of the problems we ran into with WooCommerce is it was actually overselling. So when we'd sell out of books, there would be people that would actually buy after we sold out. We'd sell books we physically didn't have copies of, and that was awful. That was one of our biggest impetuses of saying we've got to move past this, because nobody wants to have to send out an email. And for everyone out there that got one of those emails or saw people complaining about it on social media and said, hey, I managed to get a couple copies of it, or give mine to somebody else, I mean, you warm my heart. I cannot tell you how much that means to Jen and I, to, whenever we see people being upset about things, to see you guys step up. I'm truly humbled and honored by that. So we switched to WooCommerce and we have all these SKUs, so we can say we've got 200 9.8 of this book, 300 of this one, and 400 of this one. If we did sets, we run the risk of taking away from SKUs where people either everyone's going to buy if people just buy the sets, then they're going to be frustrated that they can't buy them individually, or if they're buying them individually, then they can't get a set because the set might be the only place available that still has one of the individuals. We feel that the best course of action is just to literally say they're all individual. You can click on them. Contrary to popular belief, we do not have a say in the algorithm of Shopify and who gets what book. I don't know how it determines who is first come and who is first served. It is what it is. And it's one of those, again, I have absolutely no control over it. If you know of a better one out there that is, because again, I don't know what's going on behind the engine, but if you guys do and you know, like, well, so-and-so has this one, this plugin, man, I'm down. Like, I will upgrade, I'll pay for it, whatever it takes to make it better. But that's the reason why we don't do sets yet. We haven't figured out a good way to figure out how to allocate the different ones across the board, if that makes sense. And fear that people would miss out on something. So, um, hey John, any chance we get a process vid? Also, do you recommend to make actual comics to make comic covers, or do you suggest start making a portfolio of only comic book covers? Thanks. Um, well, it depends what you want to get into, man. If you're wanting to be a storyteller and work in comics, make a portfolio of comics. Tell stories. That's what you need to do. If you're interested in getting into covers, for anyone that's not aware, I'll keep my story brief. Um, I started going to cons with a group called Studio Revolver down when I lived in Atlanta. I shared an office with Georges Gianti, who's currently doing the Mandalorian comic. He used to work on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Gambit. He's amazing. I also worked with people like Dexter Vines, who was the inker on Civil War, Superman, Batman. Just one of the best flipping inkers I've ever seen. So I started going to shows. Very few people were selling prints back then. So I was actually one of the first people to sell prints at a con for like $10. I wasn't doing limited editions. I was just like, I brought in a ton of stuff. At the time I'd worked for Dungeons and Dragons. I'd had made the negative space prints. And I was just selling at my booth. And, the idea was, since very few other people were doing this back in the day, a ton of people were like, I got $10 burning a hole in my pocket. Oh, well, this is for my girlfriend or whoever, my friend, I'll buy it. And people were just walking around with my prints. Eventually, Philip Soblik at Top Cow saw people walking around with all my prints and stopped a person and was like, I see these everywhere. Everyone's got these. Who is this guy? I've never seen him. He came over to my booth and introduced himself and asked if I wanted to work on Witchblade. So I had tailored my covers to basically be walking advertisements and product to sell to con. And therefore, it worked very well for being able to communicate into covers and translate into covers. I do have a background in advertising as well, and marketing. That's really helped me and been very beneficial. So, um, that's my recommendation. Learn as much as you can about advertising, because I I don't know how much I consider myself a comic book artist, and I say that out of respect to comic book artists. The amazing talent that creates the stories that you're buying a comic to read a comic for a lot of people. I look at my covers as an advertisement to get you to pick up and buy that product. That has obviously changed now. I've worked really hard to try and convert the idea of a cover is also a product in and of itself, hence the exclusives. And it's been something I've worked on for a lot of years, and I'm really happy with the results. So thank you guys for that. But draw what you want to draw, man. And I'll tell you, if I was getting into the industry at this era, I would certainly be, have my eye on the prize with Marvel and DC and everybody. But I'd also be doing a lot of independent work. Man, social media and the internet has changed the game. So don't be afraid to do your own stuff, and make money that way too. I think there's a really cool avenue for that. As far as the process vid, yeah, I mean, if you look at the Iron Man one on my YouTube channel, actually, it literally goes through how I paint an Iron Man cover, and it's to some pretty dope beats as well. Uh, Rich Miranda about the Hulk Maestro, Joe Fixit, Red Hulk. Yes, I mean, again, love to do Hulk. It would be super rad. Um, Okay, Comic Christopher. I have an account I've tried and failed to be able to purchase several times. The last having a glitch when it went live. Am I going to get boxed out of being able to make this purchase yet again? Will we have an email code for newsletter subscribers that works, or is that just an open purchase? All great questions. You have an account. You've tried and failed. Yes. Again, I apologize for that. I'm trying to find new ways, and I'm open to suggestions. The last time having a glitch, the glitch was again, I started drinking before that glitch, but man, that was one night I was pounding it. I was told when we went to Shopify, the great thing about Shopify never goes down, and Shopify went down. That was incredibly frustrating. Everyone had a right to be upset. I was upset for you and for myself. But I couldn't control it. It was shot. It just so happened to go down what was like literally 3 minutes before our sale went live. Hopefully, we can avoid those things in the future. As far as like newsletter and being able to purchase, be able to get in on the first round, like I'll default back to that idea I had of the, buying in advance, basically letting people pre-order and getting on I hate using the term subscription because every effort has a subscription now. Um, but I mean, it's not a subscription as much as it's like a pre-sale, just so we can guarantee. The idea, what would be cool with that is that I would also know how many to order at that point as well, right? I mean, one of the challenges as an owner that I have is, I look at something like a sellout and I'm like, okay, cool, we sold out of X amount of books. I now know how many I should probably order the next time around. But then I also get flooded with a ton of people being like, I'm never going to buy from you again. This was horrible. So I try and temper my expectations. Having something like that at the beginning of the year would know, okay, this is how many people I like. I know before I even place the order with Penguin and Marvel, this is how many books I need to get. And opening that to anybody that's interested, or to newsletter people, what have you, is an option. If it's something you think that if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, that we should invite all of those people to be part of the private sale, like I'm open to that as well. It's something I would definitely consider. I mean, here's where just to give you an insight into how my brain works. My question then becomes, okay, if we have, you know, all of these people that are wanting to buy in the private sale, they get invited to the private sale, and we only have this many books available. Well, I know I'm not going to sell to this many people because I mean, just the numbers have proven, right? People buy and then they drop off, what have you. But we've been up until the negative spaces, we were pretty dead on. I mean, I don't really know many people that wanted a Star Wars figure and didn't get one. But the negative space have kind of thrown a monkey wrench into that, which is a good monkey wrench for me to have, but not so much for everyone else. And um, I'm not sure what the solution to that is. Is it ordering more books? Is it um, inviting more people to the private sale? But then some people might get boxed out and then get upset that they were, why are so many people being invited when I've been buying from you every time and now I couldn't get a copy? Um, I need something that kind of helps facilitate the metrics, and hopefully, ideas like the selling all the books almost at the beginning of the year to guarantee yourself a copy would give me that kind of information and knowledge of how many I need to order. But again, I'm open. Like, if you have ideas, please share them because I would love. I mean, we'll change. I'm sure we're going to learn something from Scarlet Witch here that's going to change how we handle our next sale. And it might not have the same impact on our next one being an action figure, but it certainly will on the next negative. Okay. Okay, and the Euler's workshop responded to that with everyone knows the only way to get in is to write a blockchain algorithm so fast it's better than Bitcoin to get in place in order by using time travel. Duh, I get you. And he's got a laughing emoji. So, yeah, that's something also like I'm just going to put out here to everybody. Contrary to popular belief, especially Boba Fett, we didn't have any bots whatsoever. The one per customer, I think, really helped kind of sway that. And also the fact that I kind of made it a point of saying, like, hey, bots, let's not. Phoenix, we did have a couple bots, but it wasn't as much as you think. I mean, there weren't like hundreds of books being sold to bots. It was far smaller than you would think. And hopefully, with the systems we have set up, that's not going to be the case anymore. And you won't have a problem with being able to get into it. Hopefully, it all works out, man. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Another one. Another question just came in. What was your first negative space cover, and was there a particular artist or piece of art that inspired you to create them? Um, Yes, Coles Phillips, and it's trying to reconnect. Okay, great. Um, I'll just keep going. Coles Phillips was a turn of the century artist. He did negative space. He's kind of the father of it. I certainly did not invent it. Um, Look him up. His work is spectacular, and it will give you an idea of where I'm going with it. I just thought it was something cool in high school that I was like, "Ooh, I want to draw, 90s comic book characters, Nate Gray and a negative space," and I just kind of went from there with it. Uh, and whoops, sorry, one second. What was my first negative space? Like I said, it was like a Nate Gray. I was big into Age of Apocalypse back in the day, so I did some negative space of their stuff, which was pretty rad. Um, but yeah, check out Coles Phillips. You will not be disappointed. And um, as I continue to uh, do more, maybe we'll get into some kind of more crazier stuff. Uh, Jeff Hernandez responded on Facebook, maybe even a yearly membership where you get every exclusive guarantee. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Um, an idea where basically it's just the beginning of the year. It's like, this is how much all the books are going to be. Maybe there's a discount or maybe there's something going on with it. I don't want to even say discount. I don't know. I've got to talk to my team about it more. They might say like, oh my gosh, it's going to create a ton more work and we've got to figure all these different things out. So I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. I just want to put it out there as something open. But yeah, man, I mean, I think just the opportunity to guarantee like you can get every book at the beginning of the year. You don't have to worry about it. You know, maybe we can send them out early for anybody also. Like, you almost get like an in advance. I'm down. I mean, that's like I said, it's something I'm certainly into. Oh, okay. The comments have blown up here. One second. Let me keep going here. I'm into this as long as I get questions, so I'm just going to keep going. Answered, 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 answered. Support. Did CGC Anthony Hall? Did CGC ever get in touch with you about the Elizabeth Olsen signing email I sent them? Yes, Anthony. I didn't want to give your name out. They did, and it is happening. We're going to go through a gentleman called Dan Partucci at One Stop Comics Shop. At the beginning of this video, I put the information. I'm happy to. I'll probably be sending it out as well when I send out my big list of stuff that kind of explains everything, my newsletter, if you will. Um, it's happening. He's going to be able to manage it. It's all going to be within time. Dan's going to make sure everyone gets taken care of. All you need to do is buy the books from me, hit Dan up and tell him how many you want signed by her, and we will send them off, and it will happen. So, and like I said, I've been in touch with several people at CGC that have even verified that like this is how we're going to do it, and it's going to happen. So, if you want Elizabeth Olsen's signature on this, it's going to happen. Um, how do I get a book if I've never bought from you before? Well, that's kind of one of the things we've been talking about. I mean, the best course right now for Scarlet Witch is just, have your finger on the trigger when it comes to 6 o'clock on the 30th Eastern Standard Time. I can't promise anything. I'm going to just say, be ready. If it's anything like Boba Fett, I mean, here's the good news with Boba Fett, and for any, you know, the second printing Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett lasted into the first hour. He lasted the full hour and he sold out within, I think, 7 minutes of the first, after the first hour ended, where people could buy as many copies as they want. But, if you try and buy something and what you're wanting to get might possibly be sold out, again, I have no control over this. It is what it is. But, just keep trying. But if there's one that you want, at least get it. It's going to be probably cheaper on my site than it will be on the secondary market, and that will put you in the list. And again, we're going to try and start inviting everybody, and certainly recent people, to get in on the private sales, which will hopefully help make more people be able to get a copy of the book. So it's the best I can offer right now. But again, things are in motion, man. Maybe these things would work. Uh, Jeff's mentioned on the idea of the yearly membership type thing. There should be different tiers for raws, graded slabs, and signature series slabs. Hell yeah, definitely do that. Um, The graded ones get a little weird though, just because that's up to the nature of the book. Some books we get in, I mean, with Phoenix, you guys saw like there were 9 9s out of the wazoo. That book came in so beautifully. Um, Boba Fett uh, had some good 9 8s. 9 9s, not really. It all depends. So I'd hate to guarantee that you could get a graded 9 8 and then not be able to deliver on that. It would be more, you know, again, I'm open to ideas, but just off the top of my head, it seems like I'd hate to make any promises that I couldn't fulfill. I also think, Jeff also says, I also think increasing the print run might be a good idea. I myself wouldn't want that, but if that's what it takes to get everyone a copy, I would be okay with that. Obviously, this wouldn't apply to every title, but there are definitely certain characters that sell out faster than others. Um, yeah, and that's kind of always the big challenge, right? Because what I think is cool and what I'm excited about doing is sometimes different than what other people's excitement level might be. And I don't know. I don't know. Could I end up? Could I just buy 10,000 copies of every book and then just sell them? Like I could. I don't think that's not good business for me, and I'm not sure if other people would be happy with that or not. But I certainly think it's finding that sweet spot. I guess I'd gotten confident in my abilities to pick that with the action figure covers because we would get our orders in and I pretty much had it, down to a T of like, do I need to get more prints, a second printing made of this to fulfill all the orders? Do we have enough to work this out? And it was pretty much dead set every time. It seemed again like everybody got a copy, but with the negative space, like I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around this stuff. Let's see here. I would say for the slab tier, the slabs will be 9.4 or better. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The question I've always had is like, does anyone want anything less than a 9 8? I don't know. That's a. I was always kind of told that 9 8 was the great tier. That's what you want to shoot for, especially when you're going to be, charging a premium for it. Uh, but I'm open. I mean, I know for a fact we'd get a ton of 9 8s, so or 9 4s. So that's an option. Um, so Anthony, so if we buy it from your store and then contact One Stop Comic Shop about getting them signed, so do you send them to us and we send them to him, or do you send them directly to him? We are going to send directly to Dan. That's the only way we can facilitate it within the time frame that's available because the cutoff date is the 15th. And if we tried to process it, get everybody's books out to them before the signing, we can't ensure that you're going to get your books in enough time to get them back to CGC. So we figure the small amount that Dan's going to charge to facilitate it, he's going to make sure it gets taken care of. I can't guarantee anything, just because who knows what's going to happen on the road. But this is as close as I can get to it to ensure that everyone's going to be able to get a copy or get their book signed the way they want them. So I think that's just going to be the smartest way. CGC agrees, so we just feel that like that facilitation is probably the smartest move. Also, are you able to sign up before the Olsen signing and we still get the yellow label from CGC? Yes, I will sign anything that you guys want. We're still trying to figure that out with Shopify on any signings. I sign all my books for free, no charge. If you want it signed, we're trying to figure out if we can just get the little, check mark box back in there. But because it's Shopify, there's all these other. It's not like WooCommerce where there's a little bit more freedom in how we do plugins. So we just got to figure out exactly what to do. But I think it's probably safe to say that, especially since my signature is so small, it's not like it's going to mess with hers. Unless you specifically don't want it signed, I'm probably going to sign any book that's going to go to them to then get graded and slabbed, and so they can all be signature series. Do I have any AP books planned in the near future? By AP, do you mean artist proofs? And if that's the answer, nothing right now. I kind of regret that I didn't do artist proofs. I mean, obviously Wolverine would have been nice, but I really regret not getting them on the Moon Knights, especially considering what kind of went down with that. That whole series of events really bummed me out, made me sad that I wasn't able to be more involved with it since I, didn't really have much to do with it. Uh, but no, there's no other artist proofs. As of right now, again, I'm kind of trying to keep the negative space stuff close to my vest to avoid a future Moon Knight situation. I feel that if I can manage it, I can ensure that if it's gonna be, I can make sure people are taken care of the way I want them to be taken care of. Is the best way I can describe it. Instead of feeling kind of helpless as an outsider, watching people being frustrated. Um, you know, Jen and I literally spent several nights just responding to social media posts of people yelling at me and emails of people yelling at me about what I did to them with Moon Knight and try to explain that it's like it's not my fault, but my name is attached and that bums me out. Trying to do my best on that kind of stuff. So I hope that answered the question of the AP books. Artist proof, yes. So yeah, no, none that I've none in the future that I have. See if there's anything here on that. Looks like that was it. We are almost at an hour. Thank you for showing up, everybody, and for anyone that watches this in the future. I appreciate it, and I hope I was able to cobble something together that at least gives you a little bit more of an insight into what we're doing, ideas. We'll continue doing this on social media. If this is something that I can get together a little more professionally, I'd like to do this more often with the live chat and the whole 9 yards because I want that real time feedback. I want to have conversations. If I can figure a way that we can get calls in, I would love to just talk to people and let them ask the questions because I think one of the things I find frustrating about social media, especially, is that so many things in our lives and with this business and with my business, it's far more complicated than can be fit into 140 characters or whatever it is. It's far more complicated than just typing a response and then losing the context of the person saying it. I want to be able to hear what you have to say and be able to respond to it and have you respond to it in real time and say, yeah, that idea sucks. And cool, man. If it sucks, it sucks. Like, I want to know. I want to do better. If it's the greatest idea ever, like pitch it to me, man. If it works and I can't think of how it might hurt more people than it helps, if that makes sense, I'm always down. I'll incorporate it. You know, this journey's God willing never going to stop. It's just one of those things we're going to keep evolving and keep changing and keep trying to be better to make sure you guys are happy. And because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be doing this without you. And I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for digging what I do and supporting me and allowing me to live my dream. So hopefully that will all work, man. Yeah. Thank you all very much. Again, I apologize for not, having all this figured out, but hopefully next time it'll work out. And I hope you got a little bit of insight and, we'll know a little more later. Expect the newsletter to come out here soon with all the information and posts on social media. And if you have things, post it on there. We'll talk and go from there. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.